Hey, Bethel Church of Christ, friends and family. I just wanted to bring you a little bit of a Wednesday encouragement, if I could. I've been thinking a lot about what we are enduring right now. That in our lifetimes, we haven't seen anything like this current pandemic that we're seeing sweeping across the nation. But as I got to thinking about the last time this country endured something like this, 1918, that flu pandemic that swept across the nation, shut down businesses, it closed churches. Places of employment were no longer able to have their employees there. And yet, Bethel Church of Christ has stood for 150 years. I was looking at some of the pictures in the hallway, and I saw that picture of that one-room building. And I realized that over 150 years ago, there was a group of faithful believers here close to this very same corner that we stand today, who committed to being a Church of Christ, who committed to bringing the gospel to this part of Hancock and Hardin County and even Allen County and beyond. And I don't know what exactly things looked like for them in 1918, but they endured. And we're here today because they remained faithful through all of that. And I want to encourage you to remain faithful. What's even more exciting to me, not that Bethel has stood for 150 years, but that Christ's church has stood for over 2,000 years. That on that day of Pentecost, when the church was born, it has stood the test of time and will stand this test of time. That nothing is going to stop Christ's church. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And so we may not know what tomorrow looks like. We may not know what the future holds for Bethel Church of Christ or for ourselves, but we know Christ's church will stand, and you are Christ's church. And so you have an incredible opportunity. I think we have a blessing to be able to live in this time. To be able to have this as part of our testimony. This is part of what makes us who we are today. How will we stand? How will history look back and point to not just Bethel Church of Christ, but to our generations and say, look what they endured. We have the privilege to endure. As I was thinking about that enduring and Bethel Church of Christ standing, I just wanted to share a couple of exciting things. I meant to share these on Sunday morning, but I think YouTube messing up really got me a little bit flustered. But some exciting things. One, we've been asking each of you if you would be willing to give a $10 donation to the Christian Children's Home of Ohio to help them through this crisis that they're facing. In response to that, the board also met virtually, and we agreed as a team to give an extra $1,000 to the Christian Children's Home, and that went out this week along with all of our missions giving for the quarter. If you weren't familiar with how Bethel does things, instead of paying our missionaries once a month, we do quarterly amounts. Now that amounts to around $25,000 that went out on Monday or sometime thereabout for our missionaries. We want to make sure that they are supported through this time. I had a conference call with Lifeline, who Mike and Sandy minister with, and they were talking about some of the challenges that the church and individuals are facing in Honduras and Haiti and Cuba and so many places. We have challenges here, but we have an opportunity also to reach out and to help. And I talked with several people. I know I talked with Mike briefly and Greg and Rick. And sometimes we just hate that all we can do right now is kind of send money to the children's home. There's coming a point, though, where we'll need to step in with our time, with our talents, and our resources. But right now, what we can send is our resources. So I want to encourage you to consider again giving that $10 donation or more if you're able to the Christian Children's Home of Ohio. And those funds are actually getting multiplied exponentially because of the funding from the state as well. Can I encourage you also to send just a note of encouragement to some of those kids? There's no off-campus visits right now, no field trips, no visits home if parents are still able to do that. And so these kids are getting discouraged. So can I encourage you to write a note? You can go to their website, ccho.org, And you can look up the address there and just send a note of encouragement, maybe a note of encouragement to some of those house parents, because they're there with no relief. Oftentimes they'll have moments or days where they're able to get away, and they don't have those right now. So we have an opportunity to step up and be the church right now with just our financial resources, but we'll have other opportunities, I believe, in the near future. I want to encourage you also to continue to give to Bethel. As we sent that missions check, we're planning for the next quarter to send a check again. We're keeping all of our missionaries and all of our staff at current pay rates. And so I would like to encourage you to go ahead and continue giving as you have. Bethel has been a faithful family with their finances, and I trust that that will continue to be the case. Hey, I hope you've been encouraged today by the fact that Bethel has stood the test of time, Christ Church has stood the test of time, and God knows what you're going through. God knows what you're dealing with right now, and He will see you through this. It may not look exactly like we think it should or we want it to, but His will is perfect. Hey, I hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.